All right, folks, this is Harris Sultan. A video of a Lebanese Australian woman is going viral on social media, and a lot of people are saying, well, why is she apologizing? So before I play you that video, it's important for you to understand some basic facts about Lebanon. So the biggest population of Muslims in Australia is made up of Lebanese Muslims. So therefore, a big chunk of extremist Muslims in Australia are also Lebanese. Who are those people? Let me show you. You are probably familiar with some of these guys because I've played these videos to you a few times before, maybe more than a few times. This guy is Wissam Haddad. He's a Lebanese Muslim, and he directly inspired the Bondi Beach terrorists. Have a listen to him.
Can't take away from the fact, first and foremost, that jihad is definitely part of our deen. Oh. And as Muslims, we should never ever shy away from this. And yes, there may be types of jihad, but of the peak of this jihad is that which the Messenger Muhammad ﷺ spoke about, and I'll read the hadith soon. And that is fighting in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal.
So fighting in the path of Allah is the real jihad. That is an important part of Islam, and no Muslim should shy away from it. This is what he's saying. So this is what he says in front of the camera. Imagine what he says when the cameras are not rolling. Well, he's inspiring terrorists like Naveed Akram, the guy who massacred 14 Australians at Bondi Beach. It's a 2-minute long video. It's got some other gems as well, but that's besides the point. He is an extremist Muslim. He loves ISIS. And for some reason, we actually can't deport him. We can deport neo-Nazis back to England. The Australian government has started arresting people over Nazi tattoos, but we can't deport jihadis like him or ISIS simps like him. That's the nature of Australia. So that's one guy. Let me play you another one. Remember this guy?
I'm smiling and I'm happy. I'm elated. It's a day of courage. It's a day of happiness. It's a day of pride.
You know what is the day of pride? Killing 1,200 Israelis in Israel. Innocent civilians, women, men, and children.
It's a day of victory. This is the day we've been waiting for. 75 years.
And most of these people who are cheering him, they are most likely also Lebanese. As I said, the majority of Australian Muslims are Lebanese, although that demography is changing now because a lot of Muslims are coming from India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, etc. I don't know what's wrong with our governments.
75 years of occupation. 15 years of blockade. What yesterday happened was the first time our brothers and sisters broke through the largest prison on earth! Occupation is the...
And it's not just about the Israel-Palestine issue. I have played this other video as well of this guy. He's a full-blown Islamist. He wants to overthrow Western liberal democracies and replace them with Sharia, with the Islamic form of government. He sees it as a civilizational struggle. He is a full-blown Islamist. Oh, by the way, and they love to gaslight you and say, hey, look, what's wrong with that? We're only speaking up for the rights of indigenous people, i.e. the people of Gaza, to be liberated from a settler colonial power like Israel. No, that's not it. That's just there to shut you up. These guys know what they're doing. He wants to overthrow Western liberal democracies and replace them with Sharia. Have a listen to him.
My brothers and my sisters in Islam, victory is coming. And you and I, inshallah, because we love Allah and we love His Prophet, we are on that path to victory. We are on that path of this civilizational struggle where we're going to see Islam dominate.
Islam dominates. Civilizational struggle. He's not talking about the victory of Palestinians over Israel. No, he's talking about the civilizational struggle between the West and Islam, and because he's deluded, he's batting for his own team and he's saying Islam will dominate. He's also a Lebanese Muslim. Let me just show you who these people are. They're all Lebanese Muslims, okay? Remember that distinction. They're not Lebanese Christians, they're Lebanese Muslims. These guys were also mostly Lebanese Muslims. Not the Zionists, Jews, okay? Remember that. And then just this year, on the anniversary of 7th of October, they did it again. But this time they were a lot more clearer. And they said that we're only saying, where's the Jews? Where's the Jews? As if that makes it any better.
Where's the Jews? 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 Where's the Jews?
Okay, most of them, if not all, are Lebanese Muslims, okay? And just recently, I think just over the weekend, they did this at a Sydney shopping centre. They're terrorizing Australia and Australians. And what they don't understand is that they are awakening a sleeping giant. 90% of Australia is still white, okay? 90% of Australia is still white. It's the same equation right here in Australia as well. Just like in Britain, 80% of Britain is white, and Aussies can see that their demography is being collapsed on purpose. So it's now or never. You have to stand up and you have to root out terrorism or extremism. The Muslim community has to get up and they have to differentiate themselves from these people. But they can't. These are not some fringe people. Did you see the crowds? They're ordinary Aussie Muslims walking around. They have jobs. They go to work and then at night they join these protests and they harbor these views. So there is going to be a problem, and our wimpy, worst prime minister in Australia's history, Anthony Albanese, still hasn't mentioned Islam or Islamism. He is saying that anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and far-right extremism are the biggest problems in Australia right now. Let me tell you how stupid this statement is. 100% of all terrorist-related deaths in 2025 happened due to Islamic terrorism. And when your prime minister can't even mention the ideology that is responsible for all terrorist-related deaths in 2025, then you know that your prime minister is a wimp. So I'm expecting a knock on the door. I really am. I want a knock on the door. Let's just see what happens. So these are your Lebanese Muslims. This is why a Lebanese Australian woman has had enough. And she has a message for all Australians and I think for every Westerner as well. But there is one sad thing about that. She's a Lebanese Christian. She's not a Lebanese Muslim woman. So we need this kind of condemnation from the Muslim community. Otherwise, you know what? It's going to be a bumpy road ahead for everyone. So you either root out extremism or boot out. Now, let me tell you, this woman speaks exactly like an Aussie. So some of you might struggle to follow, but that's a very Aussie way of talking.
I am Lebanese and I was born in Australia. My parents came from Lebanon when they were very young. And I have lived in this country, and this country has served our family well. And we have lived in this world and we have respected the laws of this land. And I just want to apologise on behalf of my race for the embarrassment caused for people that come from Lebanon that aren't born here, that aren't Australian citizens, come here to cause harm, hate, and destruction.
And it's not just foreign-born Lebanese people or Gazans or Palestinians that are causing trouble here. They're actually homegrown, Aussie-born Muslims who are doing this as well. This Wissam Haddad guy, he's an Aussie-born. The other Sheikh Ibrahim or whatever his name is, the other guy who was elated, he's a day of courage. That guy is born in Australia. And Naveed Akram, although his father was an Indian, who, by the way, was actually radicalized by his own son. He was a moderate Muslim. This tells you a lot about a moderate Muslim, which is basically a ticking time bomb. Any moment when he starts seeing Islam seriously, he can become a terrorist, okay? He can, as was the case with Naveed Akram. Naveed Akram, the Bondi Beach son, the terrorist, he got radicalized by Wissam Haddad, an Aussie-born ISIS sympathizer, and he managed to get through to an Aussie-born Muslim who was the son of an Indian immigrant, an Italian woman. There's something seriously wrong. Muslim children that are being born in the West, they are more radical than their parents. So no, it's not the foreign-born Muslims. It's the ones who are born here as well. So you need to call them out too.
I want to apologize on behalf of my country. And I reckon everyone should start doing this. And everybody needs to stand up and wake up and start apologizing on behalf of their country for people coming in and migrating in this country, from my country I'm talking about.
Every community must apologize and they must thank the country they migrated to. But we see the opposite. We see the absolute opposite. They're ungrateful. They ask for reparations. They don't say thank you. They're not grateful. But on top of that, it's one thing to have no love, but they actually hate these countries. They hate them. I played you the video of this other Australian Muslim guy. Let me play this video to you again. This guy, listen to him. He's an Australian-born Muslim. Look at the contempt that he has for Australia, yet he chooses to live here.
Please keep away from Bondi Beach. We've had enough. You know what? We'll do that. The moment you keep out of Palestine, Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Libya, Algeria, Bosnia, Sudan, Somalia, when you stay out of our countries, stay out.
Australia is not in any of these countries. So he's seeing Australia as part of the West, and he obviously doesn't see himself as part of that. But this is a civilizational struggle. You understand that? That's why a Muslim born in Australia or Britain or America can never be a true British or Australian or American, because he looks at it through a civilizational lens. They are economic migrants. They're not ideological migrants. That's the reason why they have contempt. So that's the reason why they're not only not grateful, but they also have resentment and hatred for the countries that they're born in as well. The Lebanese woman, I don't know why she's different. She's different because she's a Christian. So she can disassociate herself from these grievances, or like get out of Palestine, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, whatever. She doesn't have to have that grievance, although she should have a grievance with this community, because Lebanon used to be majority Christian. And then, you know, Islam happened.
Stay out of Asia, stay out of the Middle East, stay out of Africa. All right, stay out of our countries because we've had enough. And then we'll stay out of Bondi.
No, what these people don't understand is that you actually don't get a choice. If you keep up with this attitude, you will be booted out.
My country I'm talking about. I'm Lebanese. I'm not racist.
No.
But how dare you come into this country? And I'm not just talking about what happened in Bondi. I want to apologize for the
Such a Lebo girl.
crap that people bring in from other countries and think that they can come and corrupt other countries. Like, I've had enough. We are trying to raise our kids in a good environment. Our families have come from war. They've had a hard life. We come to a blessed country not to have this shit come in the country again, into a beautiful country where our forefathers and the women before us have fought. Women have been abused by men. Now women can work these days and experience freedom. There's so much change, and we are living like we are still dumb. Are we dumb?
Yeah.
I want to start a trend, and if anyone has the balls to get up and start apologizing on behalf of their country, they should. Everybody. Like that, enough is enough. If you want to fight, stay in your country. As simple as that. It's got nothing to do with, oh, I'm right, you're wrong. It's just complete evil. And how dare you come in other countries and start disrespecting and unaliving people. I've had enough. And I apologize on behalf of Lebanon, my country, for all the nuggets and the tryhards that think that they could come to Australia and act as if they're heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. Freaking idiots. Freaking idiots. They just need to be slapped into reality. Very good. But if they keep up with this attitude that we've been seeing, when the silent majority wakes up, you're not even 1%, okay? Your citizenships will be cancelled and mass deportations will happen. We are putting all the pressure in the world we can, and it's not only just me. There's so many other people putting pressure on our wimpy Albanese government, who is such a wimp. He doesn't mention Islam or Islamism. Not once has he mentioned since the Bondi Beach massacre happened. He's under a lot of pressure. He's bringing in these hate speech laws. He's going after people with Nazi swastika tattoos. Yeah, literally, they have started arresting people Let me show you. Like, Jesus, look at this. An Aussie dad faces a year in jail after being hunted down by police over alleged SS tattoo. So he has an SS tattoo, okay? Look at this. This is what New South Wales Premier Chris Minns is saying. What a clown. He says that we don't have American-style free speech in this country. We have to abolish free speech in the interest of multiculturalism. How about you abolish multiculturalism and we retain our free speech, huh? How about that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, it would be self-evidently ridiculous that it would be illegal to put a Nazi symbol on a bed sheet, but you can put it on your body. There's no place for it. As far as people who are propagating that or responsible for tattooing it, they should be ashamed of themselves. We're going to do everything we can to stamp out hate in our community, and I'm glad that arrest has been done.
I have no love for neo-Nazis, okay? But when we start arresting people over tattoos, over speech, over stupid Nazi salutes, over these little things, they are better off left ignored. They haven't committed any terrorist act, okay? They haven't. There is no credible, serious threat of neo-Nazis in Australia, okay? There isn't. Avi Yemeni said that as a Jew in Australia, he knows which group he's afraid of. And that's not the neo-Nazis. The neo-Nazis, yes, they're there, they're annoying, but they're not a threat. Once you start arresting them, once you start victimizing them, because an Islamist, which they don't want to mention, an Islamist killed 15 Australians. Not a neo-Nazi. Neo-Nazis are better left ignored. Leave them. Once you start persecuting them, their numbers will swell. It seems like they want people to be pushed to the far right.
God is bigger, God is greater. You're nothing. And I just want to say I'm sorry on behalf of my country, Lebanon, for everyone that has come and harmed everybody in Australia. Like, enough's enough. If you are in Mexico, America, anywhere, start rebuking the people that come in and think they're heroes. Enough. Like, enough. Stay in your country if you're full of hate. And that's how you were raised. Stay there. Stay there. Because the people that have worked so hard, that pay taxes and everything, we are the ones suffering. Like, you're killing our innocent people. If there are wars overseas, leave it there. God will deal with it. Enough with the protesting. There's no need. If it's not happening in your country, there's no need for protesting. Don't protest. You can hear out a story, know about what's going on in another country, but don't protest here. You aren't gods. Everyone needs to stop acting like gods. Enough.
I would love to see more Muslims talk like this. She's a Lebanese Christian, so no wonder she's talking about it. I hope she doesn't face any reprisal attacks, because the Lebanese Muslim community can be very aggressive. You just tend to stay away from them. The only time I see them is when I go for a Lebanese kebab. That's about it. Good people, of course, they're good people. They're good and bad people everywhere. It's the extremism that we need to root out. Otherwise, boot out. Look at the Premier of New South Wales, Chris Minns. He says, free speech will have to go to preserve multiculturalism. What a clown. Let me play this video.
I recognise, and I've fully said from the beginning, that we don't have the same freedom of speech laws that they have in the United States. And the reason for that is that we want to hold together a multicultural community. We don't have the free speech rules that they have in the United States. We've got strict interpretation of hate speech in the state. If that needs to go further in a legislative sense, that's exactly what I'll do. We have to take steps to protect that. It can't just be a willy-nilly race to the bottom where civic society turns a blind eye and says, well, look, freedom of speech reigns here, people can say what they want. That's not the case in New South Wales. We don't have the same freedom of speech laws that they have in the United States, and the reason is because we love the country that we've got here, and we're going to take steps to protect what's been built up over decades.
So what, Americans don't love their country? What a stupid statement. What a stupid guy. And they're only doing that to safeguard one community that is responsible for 100% of terrorist attacks in 2025, okay? Instead of calling out the problem child, they are punishing every single Australian. Farmers, hunters, ordinary Australians, influencers like myself. we're going to be policed, we're going to be persecuted, prosecuted for our speech. That is our right as a citizen of a free, liberal, democratic country. But no, we have to watch out. We have to watch our words. Keir Starmer, this is two-tier Keir all over again. I told you this is going to happen in Australia, and it is happening right before our eyes. And it seems like we can do absolutely nothing. They're bringing in these draconian laws. I don't know. Look, I guess my worst fear will come to reality when I get a knock on the door. I'm just telling you, I am mentally prepared that I might get a knock on the door. And when I do, I'm not backing down, okay? I'm not backing down. We need Muslims to come out and start calling out the bad apples in their community. Otherwise, you know what? It's going to be a bumpy road ahead for everyone.